Hey race fans, welcome to the Glory Days Grill Turn 5 Turnaround. I'm your host Mike Donald. I'm the announcer for the Steel Block Bandit Late Model Series. And race fans, we have a special treat here today. Today we're here at Eastside Speedway. It's opening night, Eastside Speedway. And I'm being joined by the promoters of Eastside Speedway here in Waynesboro, Virginia, G.W. Fitzgerald. And further over we have Tim Southern. And gentlemen, tonight here, when the green flag drops, Eastside Speedway will begin its 58th year of stock car competition. I know you two guys have got to be very excited about the history of that and to be a part of that. Just tell us a little bit about that so far and being a part of the historic facility.
I tell you, it's nothing more amazing than being a part of 58 years of racing here at Eastside Speedway. Both of us have been a part of this speedway for probably combined 50 years ourselves. So, it's really a unique experience to be able to sit here and see the track evolve to what it has evolved, from the straight up perimeter cars that we ran in the past to the upgraded offset late model cars that we have today. And the U-Car division, open wheel modified sportsmen, they're just growing by leaps and bounds. We're just privileged to be able to have a part in the history here at Eastside Speedway.
Well, tell us a little bit about your involvement. Of course, 1953, Eugene Kirby purchased the land. It was passed on to L.P. Clater in 54 that sold the land to Al Gore in 58, I believe, and then he handed it off to his son Gary in 1973. He had it for several years, and then you two gentlemen got involved. Give us chronologically how that evolved. Did you come in first, and then you came in after, Tim? Tell me how your involvement, how it got started.
As far as drag racing, participant, GW was here way before I was. But believe it or not, it's a comical story how I started working here. I was working with some other guys that worked at the Speedway, and they knew I was looking for some side work, so I started working here 21 years ago. And we worked directly for Al and Gary Gore. And then in 2007, he decided to retire and lease the property, and I started help promoting the racetrack for the other investors or renters, whatever you want to call them, as they come in.
Well, that's very good. Now, of course, this year, this is opening night. Wanted to talk about, first of all, next weekend, April 16th, the Steel Block Bandit Late Model Series will come in to town. And Eastside Speedway's had the Bandits every year since the series inception in 2009. Again, 4 races, race fans, at the Steel Block Bandits will come into Eastside Speedway. And you've always had pretty good car counts. I believe Eastside Speedway holds the record at Steel Block Bandits with 46 entries. Of course, you'll be doing 3 double hitters with Natural Bridge this year. Of course, you teamed up with your companion track, if you want to call it that, down south, and got some double hitters. But tell us why the idea of bringing in the Steel Block Bandit series. How you feel about bringing in the series, as many times as 4 times this year, and the benefits you feel that the Steel Block Bandit series will receive, as well as Eastside Speedway.
As far as the racetrack, we have great drivers that run with Steel Block Bandits. You got Greg Robertson, Joey Lovell, Christian Lemley, Danny Brown Jr. You got several competitors that race with Steel Block Bandits. And we just thought that why should we let those guys, which are good drivers, they win all over the place, Walker Arthur, just a few that run here locally, they follow Steel Block Bandits. We want to be a part of the enthusiasm that the drivers have. We want to give them a racetrack to race at. We want to try to be the home of the Steel Block Bandits. That's our main goal. If that happens, that's great. If it doesn't, we're going to host them as many times as we can. But as far as for the fans, there's nothing worse than coming to a racetrack and just seeing 16 or 17 of the same old guys race around over. Let's bring in the guys from out of town that they normally don't see, and let's put on some good racing that the fans deserve to see for their money.
Well, we appreciate y'all having us in this many times this year and hosting us since 2009. And like I said, with tracks that we go to, I hope we can forge a great business relationship for years to come. And I like your idea of maybe being one of the host tracks of the Steel Block Bandits. All right, GW, you've been kind of sitting here kind of silent so far. Yeah. Just kind of get your thoughts on it.
Well, last year we had it on Sunday, which was a bad day, and we had a still good day though, being a Sunday race, and everybody said daytime racing just don't get it. So we figured this year we'd do all night races and see what happened, but we had a good day last year, even with a bad day. Had a pretty good car count. It was down, I think, from Natural Bridge, but we just try and make it better this year. That's all, and make it work.
Now, to help pull this off, and we were talking about the double hitters. Now, in the past, Natural Bridge Speedway and Eastside Speedway have joined up and had the 2-track challenge. Now, I didn't really see that listed on the schedule, but kind of in lieu of that, you did the 3 double hitters with Natural Bridge Speedway. And of course, you take turns with Larry and Kerry Ramsey. One will be on a Friday night, and then the next time the Bandits come in, you'll swap the dates. But talk to the race fans about the importance of being able to work with your local tracks, not so much as look at each other as a competitor, but to help one another. That helps the car count and fan attendance at both tracks.
Well, Timmy's been involved in this promoting a lot more than I had. Like I said, I was a racer and a drag racer, so I use him a lot to help me on these things, and he talks to Larry and stuff all the time, and we're trying to make it work. But Timmy's a big help in this. He'll have to answer
Well,
that.
the thing about the tracks working together, Larry, he calls me a lot, and I call him as often as I can. I don't know everything. So there's a lot of people I do talk to for information, Danny Wilson being one of them, and all that good stuff. Typical life of a racetrack person, the phone itself.
Live race fans, what can we say?
But anyway, that's somebody calling to see if it's raining here, but it's not. We're going to be racing. But if you don't try to work a little bit with your local track, it's going to hurt your fans worse than it's going to hurt your racers. They're the ones paying the bill. And the racers are here to put on a show and to do what's needed to make the fans want to come back. So if anytime we can work with Natural Bridge or even Winchester, if they would ever call and say, hey, we're going to be running this show, could you not run? I don't have a problem with that, because I know that if I call Larry Ramsey and say, Larry, I'm running a big show on this day, he'll switch to a Friday, whether it's the 2-track challenge or Steel Block Bandits. The reason we're really not doing the 2-track challenge this year, I thought we would benefit more if we just combined our Steel Block Bandit races versus the 2-track challenge.
Right.
Because we have more guys from each track that do the Steel Block Bandit versus the 2-track challenge.
Right. And I'll tell you, talk about the benefits, we already know that we'll have drivers from Pennsylvania, Maryland, North Carolina, Virginia, maybe a couple come over from West Virginia here next weekend, as well as the 3 double hitters coming later in the season. But also want to give you gentlemen a chance to talk about Eastside Speedway and things that are going on. One question I wanted to ask you, I know here a couple years ago, I believe you kind of expanded the turns a little bit, made a different entrance and exit into the pits. Of course, 2009, you had a super late model show that came in. Of course, Bo Feathers, that's a full-time Steel Block Bandit driver this year, won that event. Just wanted to ask you what the mindset was. Is there a plan maybe down the road that y'all might entertain of having a super late model division here at Eastside? Was that kind of maybe trying to get your feet wet with that, or was that just a special event? Tell us about that a little bit.
GW and I, neither one was involved in the super late model show. I can't lie about that. But we are in the process of trying to work on a super late model show for the end of the year. Right. I cannot bring out the details yet, but they are in the works. I've talked to several people today, matter of fact, about it, and we are looking at some dates. As far as running a super late model show here weekly, I don't see us doing that,
right.
But I would like to see us get to the point where we have 4 or 5 super late model shows a year. And,
right.
and I don't want to do it with a sanctioning body. I want us to do it ourselves.
Right.
That way, the home feel of the track stays here. I know with the Lucas Motor Oil and all that, some of those guys feel like they can't run with them because they can't match the money. But if we can get something growing this year and then maybe do 2 next year, and then on down the road we have 4 or 5, it would be something for the local guys.
Well, we're getting short on time on this segment, but real quickly, let me throw this out because you mentioned Lucas Oil. Now, this is a facility here. We're in the office here, race fans, but the track's just off to my right. You got a rather large grandstand area, rather large pit area, nice concession area. Do you foresee one day you might have a Lucas Oil or a World of Outlaws show come into Eastside Speedway?
Oh, I foresee it, but as far as sitting here and saying it's going to happen next year or 2013, I can't say that, but we foresee it happening down in the future.
All right, race fans, stay tuned. We'll come back for part 2 of our interview with GW Fitzgerald and Tim Southern.